Batman has proved himself to be proficient in many different areas of training, showcasing years of strength and discipline. Covering so many different types of training naturally introduces a lot of variety and different types of strength that would be beneficial to the Dark Knight. But I believe that there are a few movements that Bruce Wayne would target specifically to ensure a strong foundation and preparation for whatever he might encounter during his main programming or while he's out protecting the streets of Gotham. So here are 3 movements and exercises that I think Batman would master using only his body weight. Movement number 1, or exercise number 1, would be push-ups. I can definitely see Batman as someone who does push-ups daily to improve full body strength, coordination, and endurance. To master this movement, though, would mean gaining the ability to perform multiple reps of even the most difficult progressions, like one-arm push-ups. So for us, that would mean taking our time with each progression, obviously depending on where you're starting from, if you can do one full push-up, or even if you can't do one full push-up yet, working your way towards that push-up using the many different push-up progressions, the easier and the more difficult, until you work your way up to something like the one-arm push-up, or even something like this will be a very difficult movement, and it's technically a different type of push-up movement. It's more directed for your shoulders, I think, instead of your chest. But the handstand push-up is something I definitely just see Batman mastering over years, because he just has so much commitment and dedication to his craft that one-arm push-ups would get easy for him, where he would get so used to doing it. He keeps mastering these types of movements, and then eventually he gets to a handstand push-up, which is a different type of movement altogether, but I still put it in the push-up category because it's in the name and it's technically a push-up movement. Movement number 2 would be L-sits. This is actually a holding movement, but it's one that can translate to a lot of different exercises because of how much it just strengthens your core and your overall coordination. It also forces you to push yourself mentally because you're holding yourself in one position for extended periods of time, something that I can see Batman doing for literally minutes at a time. The third and final movement or exercise would be pull-ups. I think Bruce Wayne would most likely be incredibly comfortable on the bar, being able to crunch out tens of reps at a time. His grip strength would be absolutely insane too, because of all the time he spends hanging off of 2 or even 1 hand for minutes at a time again. And all of these exercises, these 3 movements and exercises, they involve multiple different muscle groups at once, so that's great, but it does make them difficult at first. However, once they're mastered, they grant many important benefits for someone like Bruce Wayne. And if it helps him, it can definitely help us. So if I were somebody that are trying to implement these movements into their programming, or even outside of their main programming, just trying to get better at these movements individually just because they translate to so many other exercises, I would say that I would start with the easiest progression possible and patiently work your way up. It'd be something that I would definitely take my time on. I think that these movements would take Batman years to master. It's not something that would happen in a matter of weeks or even months, depending on where you're starting from. He's not in a rush. He knows that if he can take his time and do it right and correct his form up until perfection, then it's going to be a lot more beneficial than trying to rush these movements, potentially injuring himself and overloading his body on top of all the other exercise that he'd be performing. So these are movements that can be done outside of your main programming and done either on a daily. For some of these movements, probably not pull-ups daily. I would say maybe every other day. Push-ups maybe every other day. So at least every other day for some of these movements, just practicing them and getting them down to a T as far as form goes. And then eventually you're going to find yourself getting stronger with these movements, and you're going to eventually maybe even master them. So like I said, if it can help him, it can definitely help us. To master anything in life, though, obviously requires time, patience, energy, sacrifice, and pain. So definitely be more like Batman. Push yourself every day. Keep finding new ways to raise the bar. And that's about it, you guys. If I miss anything, if you think any other movements or exercises deserve a spot in the top 3 for Batman, please do let me know. I'm open to discussion, and I love talking about this stuff with you guys. So I appreciate it. Have a great day. Take care.